everyone, how are you guys? You guys are live here on the Brush by Brandy page. My name is Brandy. I am with Brush by Brandy. I am a Dixie Paint brand ambassador, and I'm just popping on because I'm going to be applying a transfer, and I thought you guys might like to just hang out and apply a transfer with me. So we're going to put on, this is the transfer I'm going to put on, Sunflower Fields. Hi guys, I see you guys popping on. This is the actual transfer itself. The big one. So this one comes in, this is more than one transfer. Is this 3 sheets? Okay, so if you guys were live with me last Thursday, you guys know we did this burlap paint finish on this piece behind me. So this is the finished product right here. And I've got the paint finish all done. I put a little bit of waxes on here. Hello, Brittany. Sunflowers, Amanda. I put a little bit of waxes on here, which has darkened it up. Give you guys kind of a view of the front. So this is my paint finish, and I know it's hard to see texture on camera. I'm going to bring you guys in and see if I can show you the texture in the burlap. Can you guys see some of this where it's like threadbare? I've got a woven texture in here that we made with the texture tool on my live on Thursday. So if you didn't catch that, go back and catch that, and you'll see how we got this sort of burlap look in the paint. Even if you can't see it on camera, there is a texture there. So this is going to be a sunflower piece. Only here's what's kind of interesting. I've done this look before, but my customer does not want to include these blue flowers that are a part of this transfer. So I'm going to isolate just the yellow and a lot of the greenery. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to kind of take, I actually like this big swag here. So I think I might just cut off these guys, the purple flowers. So I just have the yellow and the greenery. And that's just because she didn't like them. Hey, Erin, how are you doing today? Erin, you've been on my mind. Tell me how you're doing. So I'm going to start cutting this one. Let's go ahead and cut this, and I'm going to isolate these purple flowers. So when I'm cutting, like I'm just going to cut around, and I'm just going to cut this purple guy out here, but I'm still going to make it look not like the leaf has a chunk out of it. Kind of want to make it look natural. So I'll make it look like it's just a curve in my leaf. And I always think about that when I'm cutting transfers. So I got that one. This is kind of the shape I ended up with. So it looks like a natural leaf, just with a little divot in it. And then I'm going to cut this guy. I want to leave all this greenery, but I'm going to cut these purple flowers off here. I'm going to bring the camera down so you guys can see me cutting, because I'm cutting down low. So I've been thinking about something lately, and that is a lot of people like transfers that are kind of one and done. Like it just gives you a design. So I kind of want to get some feedback from you guys. Do you guys prefer transfers that you can cut up and make your own and there's a million different design possibilities, or do you find that overwhelming and you rather that it's just laid out for you? There's one way to use the transfer. You just put it on exactly how it comes from the package. I'm curious what you guys like. I really like to cut them up. I really like to make a different design out of them. But I do think that's intimidating for a lot of people. Oh, Erin, sitting here with your mom, she's resting. You have music playing. You're still waiting for the MRI. Oh my gosh, I'm just really glad to hear that she's doing okay. You guys send prayers to Erin, please. His mom's having a hard time right now, and so. My cameraman is actually working. He does have a full-time job, you guys. I know it's shocking that somebody would hire him. I'm kidding. I'm being super sarcastic. He's still working. So he works for a bank, you guys. It's been insane. He's working more than ever right now. And not a bank like a branch. He works in back office lending. And it's hot times. Interest rates are low right now. Lending is hot. He's busier than ever. So he's doing a lot of overtime. So when he's able to help me, I'm super grateful, because let's acknowledge the guy does have a real job. But he's still home. We have a study. We have an office in our house. You like both can be overwhelming at times. Yeah, I think I think I'm hearing that more and more, that people are overwhelmed by the possibilities. But I love to cut apart a transfer. So you can see what I did. I had to cut off this leaf here. I had purple flowers on the top, and then I had ones that lined up here. So I just cut. See that right there? I just cut right into the... Oh, real estate. Real estate's another hot one. Yes, it's super hot because rates are so low right now. So Treva, you'll understand he works in underwriting. Okay, so this is my little swag that I cut out here. I don't have my wheels on. I took them off. I don't like Facebook because it asks you to record in horizontal. So here's what I'm thinking. If I take this swag and I drape it down like this, isn't that perfect? I'm going to pop this hardware off. My hardware is not screwed in. It's just loosely attached. I'll throw it in this drawer. And I'm going to drape this. And it kind of has this curve to it, which goes really nicely along my molding right here. And I kind of want it to weave a little bit out of the molding, a little bit back in, out, in. So it looks very natural. I'm going to cut this guy off here. That's just doesn't belong. Furniture painting is hot. I think any kind of painting. So I did a live this week with Alumilite resin, and we were talking about just people are looking for things to get their mind off quarantine, stuff to keep them busy when you're stuck at home. So I think crafting as a whole has gotten really, really popular. And oh, cool. We love when we get through underwriting, means we get to close. Right on. Yeah, no, they're so backed up right now. Closing alone is taking forever. Is that what you're experiencing too, Treva? Okay, so I'm just going to peel this apart. And I'm going to place this on here. And I'm going to kind of map out my placement. I want it more into the center with just a little bit weaving outside of my moldings. So something like this. We have a visitor. What do you guys think? Do you like that placement? And then I just lightly rubbed it on. I could still probably move it if I wanted to. It's not too attached. I just want to show you guys, like, I can still, and I remove it carefully. And then if I wanted to, I could move it around. I don't know, I'm thinking I like that placement. Okay, so I'm also going to add sunflower molds to this, you guys, and I will build those on camera so you can see how to build the sunflower mold. You tried talking your mother-in-law into letting you put a secretary, but she wouldn't go for it. Really? Even like one of the, maybe just a script or something really simple? Okay, and then I'm just going to use my stick that came in the package. I tend to prefer the stick over the transfer tool. And I'm just going to start rubbing this on, and I do the flat area first. So a lot of people ask me all the time if transfers take to texture. This is a textured paint finish. It's textured. It's got sea spray in the paint. There's a lot of texture in here. Let's get up close and see if you guys can tell. There's texture in this paint. Maybe right here you can kind of see some. Right there you can see a little bit. Up here, it's all textured. And transfers take beautifully to texture. You just rub it into the texture itself. And I'm going to do the flat areas first. Aren't you supposed to be working? Oh, is Sean's on here? I told him you were working. I guess I lied. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut right here. I like to make my cuts while it's still attached to the transfer backing. And I'm just going to cut right in between there. Okay. I think I'm also going to cut up underneath here. And the reason is I'm not going to wrap this molding. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this piece off right at this edge. Boop. I'm going to pop it right up above. Can you guys see that? I'm going to pop it right up above. I don't need to wrap that molding. I actually want it to stay in the gold, so I'm just going to pop it up to the top. My son's over here riding my hydraulic lift table like a horse. Like it's a horsey ride at a carnival. I'm just going to be really careful I don't rub on my paint itself. And get that on there. And let's see, this piece is super small and should be just about ready to come off. Who said your mom wouldn't let you put a transfer on? So my mom's got a set that belonged to my to her grandmother that I think that I've got her convinced to refinish. It just is really dated. You know, if you don't like it, just refinish it. So see, I've got now this piece right up here. Get a large transfer rip off and on the backing right in the middle of applying it. Break off the backing. I'm not understanding, Sasha. If you have questions on it, but if you guys aren't members already, go to the Redesign with Prima Facebook group, and that's a great place to post questions if you have unique situations with your transfer. And then usually they can help kind of diagnose what to do to make it not happen again. This one I'm going to go ahead and wrap because it's just a couple little tips of the flower. But down here, I'm going to cut this guy too. So let's cut this. So I cut my transfers up a lot. I get it right out of the package and then I break it. Okay, so we're coming down here and I'm just going to pop these leaves. I'm going to line it up with my transfer on the other side and I'm just going to pop this right onto the other side of my molding. And then my leaves go right on the other side. I don't have to wrap that curve. It's a much easier application if you just cut it. I'm going to cut this piece with my drawer. Slice it to my drawer right there. Oops. Hey Llewellyn. Last night you tried to transfer and it took you an hour of rubbing. It can. There are some, especially if it's a really fine detail. So these are larger images. This is but when you've got really, like a lot of the little script can take a ton of rubbing. The more intricate your transfer, the more work it's going to take. We did one, what did we do it like a week or two ago? One of the big 6-sheet ones, and it took me, it was an hour in and I did only half of it. So this piece I think is probably ready to come off. We rubbed this pretty well. Let me get down here and up in this crevice. All the edges, especially the edges, because that's when you start peeling the backing away, those are the pieces that are going to want to lift. So I'm just going to pull the edge up, right here, and I watch it at the same time, and I go super slow. And that way, if I need to rub anything as I go, I can stop before it tears. Just making sure none of my, I want the transfer to all stay with my furniture piece. There. And then I'm just going to take my fingers and go over all of it. And this helps push it into the, number one, the texture of my furniture, because this is a textured paint finish. We put sea spray in our paint and we used a texture tool to make a burlap texture. It's woven. Okay. So all that's right there is done. So from here on down up to this drawer is done already. Can you rub and then walk away and come back and rub some more? Yeah, I don't see why not. If you're getting tired of the rubbing, you know, some of these transfers come in multiple sheets, so do 1 or 2 sheets. Those 6-sheet transfers, I rarely do those in one sitting. Do a sheet or 2 and then come back and do another one. See, I cut that and now I'm popping it down underneath. I know, I love doing transfers too. I really do. I go back and forth. Can you hear that as I'm rubbing? You can tell there's texture on my piece. Listen. I'll peel this away slowly. So I'm almost done in like, what, 10 minutes on one side of this piece. And then I'm thinking when I put my sunflower molds on, I'll use it like here in this corner would be a great spot. I'll do one there. I'll probably do, you know, I like odd numbers when I'm mixing stuff like that. So I'll do 2 on one side and then 1 on the other, something like that. And I like to work on diagonals. So I'm doing this here. On the other side, I'll do, you know, it's not going to be a perfect match on the other side. In fact, I might even carry one piece, a little flower up here onto this corner, so it's a little asymmetrical. This transfer is called Sunflower Fields. This is what it looks like. So we cut off all the purple flowers. I'm just using the sunflowers and the greenery that's on this one. And then I just have this one piece right here. It feels like this section went really fast. And I use my fingernail and find an edge that I can kind of get loose. I'm rubbing as I go, just making sure that all these edges are down, and then it looks like I'm going to be okay through here, which is one of these big, it's this big, is my house filled with pieces? I think I've counted before. You're testing my memory. I think I have 9 pieces in my house, but that includes like my son has a desk in his room and a nightstand. My range hood is done. I've got a piece in my dining room, a piece in my entry, a piece in a hallway. I've got 2 pieces in my study. So they're all spread around the house. But I've made a graphic before. You know where you can go? I have a blog on my website at brushbybrandy.com called Dixie Belle Around My House, where I showed all the places that I've used Dixie Belle around my house, and that includes on all the furniture that I have in my house. All right, so that's all done, you guys. Just a few minutes, all done. I cut it up a lot, and then let's come up. I'm gonna find a smaller guy. So I'm looking at these. This guy's bigger, so I don't think I want to use this one. I want one of these, either this one or this one, I'm thinking. And I'm going to put it up here on this drawer, this corner right here. You think you have 7 in your house. How many painted pieces do you guys have in your house? So I really like this flower right here. And I would, so you can turn these flowers. So I feel like this would be facing outward and I want it facing inward towards my piece. So I'm leaning towards this guy and facing it this direction. So I'm going to cut that out. And then I'm probably going to fill in. I usually do the large sections first, and then I'll come in and fill in. Like this has some leaves on it. And I can fill in places that I feel are kind of barren. Like I feel like it needs something right here, kind of pointing in. So I could just take a leaf, and I would just put a leaf in there. Maybe this little frilly guy here would be kind of pretty. So I think we're going to do that. So I'll build it up. I'll start out with my main section and then I slowly will build it up. Oh, 25 pieces. You have 7. Okay. 25, I think. Is that our winner so far? That's a lot of pieces. Okay, and then this is the one I chose for up here. This is going to need a lot of finesse to get around all these curves and stuff. It's going to be kind of a tough one. So we'll just start it and take it slow. I think I'm going to cut it a lot. I'm just going to peel it off the backing, find my placement, which I wanted at kind of a diagonal. I want most of it on here. I don't want it all up in this corner because then I'm just going to have to cut it all up. So I'm going to try to get most of it on this piece right here. And then if I have small pieces I have to cut, that's okay. I'm going to butt these two right up against the top. This is my furniture top here. Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. Yeah, I still have more planned too. There's more pieces I want to do. I have a really pretty piece of furniture stashed that I've always intended to use in my house, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. You know, our pieces always wait till last, right? Okay, now that I've got this on here, I'm going to take and I'm going to cut. I'm using the molding of my drawer as a guide. Let's see, do I want to wrap this? I'm questioning myself. I'm going to wrap it. I was going to cut it, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it. So come in here, you guys, and let's wrap this transfer. I did cut it a little bit, but we're going to wrap it. Okay. So I'm using my fingers. I'm pressing it into this molding up here at the top, and I'm going to rub it at the same time. And I just do one at a time, one molding at a time. Hear that texture again? Okay, here I'm going to have to cut it because my drawer ends. So I'm going to cut this top piece off. And I'll come back and put this up top. But right now I'm going to get it out of my way. Okay, so I'm just going to put this up on the top of my dresser and let's keep working my way around here. So I'm just using the corner of my stick. I've got it all wrapped here. It's right in my molding. Okay, so now let's come over here and we'll do this edge right here. Same thing. I'm going to press it down as I'm wrapping it. I don't have any tears on there yet. It's not impossible that I get some. Rub my leaves all on here. Okay, now I've got this kind of tricky area where it comes to a little bit of a 90 degree. Okay, now watch, my backing wants to pull away already. I use my fingernail to get in here because my stick is a little too big. So I'm going to rub this little corner with my fingernail so I can pull this backing away. A little more rubbing over here. So I'm wrapping this edge here and this edge on the top. Can you see all this good texture in here? That's a good picture of the texture. You have 20 more in the garage. I know, Luan. I have we have a storage building and it's packed, and every time I'm like, oh, I'm gonna clear it out and reduce my inventory, and then I'm like, oh, but it's so pretty, and I bring home 10 more pieces. They always sell, right? Sean doesn't usually give me grief until I ask him to dig one out for me, and it's always the one in the back, right? Okay, let's see if I can do this. Look at that. Okay, let's come down here. I'm going to wrap this bottom. I'm going to push it with my fingers and hold it there. And I'm going to work it into this curve. So do you notice I did the curve and then I came down and I'm doing this part down here. I didn't try to do the bottom and then go back and force it into the curve, because then you're going to stretch your transfer. I'm going to cut this little tip of this flower off here because it's the bottom of my drawer. I'm not even going to try to save that. So much cutting. So that's what I got rid of, just a little tip of the transfer. Don't need it. Nobody's got time for that. So you just go in, what's the word, consecutive order, like what would make the most sense. I do the curve first. I did this flat portion first, then I wrapped one curve at a time. This curve, now I'm doing this bottom one here. Okay, now I'm going to pull this off. You guys will be able to see. Okay, can you see how it wrapped? So I've got wrinkles in here, but watch what happens when I run my finger over this. All gone. So I can just seat the transfer down and get rid of all those wrinkles. I also can see my halo over here around my transfer. I'm going to rub that too. Can you see what happens? It gets rid of all the air in between the transfer and that. And then when I seal over the top of this with another layer of clear, it's virtually gone. But when I clear coat it, it's going to disappear even more. Okay, so I rub it. If I hear air bubbles, listen, I have an air bubble. I just rubbed it out. And then the transfer is starting to take on the texture in my furniture piece. They do sell, you just need a storage unit. Oh, do you have to get a storage unit or do you have a building on your property you can use? Okay, I'm going to score a little bit here because I need to force it into this really deep crevice. And I don't want to try to stretch the transfer, so I'm going to score it. And what this does is I'm telling the transfer where I want it to break versus the transfer breaking randomly. So I just score it and then I can come up under here. See that? And then it doesn't break on me. Okay, so even once it's on, there's still work to do. I still have to come back and kind of perfect the application. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to score my transfer. Just really light. I have no pressure on my blade, just enough that I can score it, and then I can come back, press it into and around on this curve. But it's not, it just wrapped a curve and there's no tears in there whatsoever. What clear coat? I think I'm going to use flat clear on this one. And the reason is it's a really rustic piece. And I feel like when you're going rustic, it should not have sheen. Sheen to me says, sorry, there's a plane going over. I have my door open. It's really nice out tonight. Okay, so sheen to me says more refined. Says more, I don't know, luxurious, I guess. So I like flat when I'm doing really rustic looks, and this is kind of rustic, a little distressed, textured. That is a beautiful application. So let's back up. Okay, can you see that up in the corner? And it goes around the edges of this drawer molding. Oh, hey, Malia. Okay, so let's go ahead. I told you that I was going to put a leaf in here. Let's go ahead and put a leaf in. Might do two. I might do one here and then one kind of this direction. So it's going, so they're pointing at each other towards the center of my piece. And then I'll have my sunflower mold is going to go on here. So that's my plan. That was a really pretty application. It wrapped all those edges really nicely. I don't have any tears in it. We got out all the air bubbles. Okay, so let's cut some leaves. So I'm looking at my greenery. I really enjoy these transfers that I can build and customize myself. I like this guy right here. Thanks, Malia. Super textured. It's got kind of a burlap texture in the paint. And then the sunflowers. So I'm thinking something like this. And then I would have a leaf. Let's cut a leaf out. So this one's kind of big. This one's a little more medium size. Let's see if I've got something even smaller. No, that's it. This transfer I had used before on another piece, so I don't have all the pieces of it here. So I usually get multiple pieces out of one transfer. Well, maybe I'll go like that. I just realized you're an evening early. It's only Wednesday. It's only Wednesday and I'm on the wrong page. I will still be live tomorrow, and I think we're going to do race stenciling tomorrow. I'm supposed to go live with Aaron on Saturday. If all goes well and his mom is doing okay, you guys, We will be live on Saturday. So I'm looking at placement here. I try to tuck the leaves in between the flower petals so it doesn't look like it's floating. It looks like it's coming from somewhere. And I'm thinking right here. Like that. So if all goes well with Aaron's mom, she's in the hospital right now, so send him prayers, you guys. We will be live on Saturday, but I want to do a raised stencil to get my piece ready for Saturday. I want a raised stencil on it with the new Dixie Belle stencils that just came out today. If you were hiding under a rock, you guys, there are 3 new stencil designs. You can go to the link that I put in this post. You can search either stencils or new release, and you'll find the 3 new stencil designs: a houndstooth, a Moroccan, and damask. They're in my stories. My Facebook and Instagram stories have pictures of them too. The new mousse is out online today. So if all goes well with Aaron's mom, we'll be live on Saturday, and I'll have a raised stencil on my piece, and then we'll add paint to it. So I'm thinking we'll put that stencil on tomorrow and add to it on Saturday. You use this a lot, Lou. It's super country. And then I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe I should just do another leaf though. Now I don't know if I want this. I like it. I'll save it for another spot. But maybe I just want another leaf coming here, maybe. You got your mousse ordered from a giveaway. Oh, you got a giveaway? Congratulations, Brittany. I miss giveaways. I think maybe I was supposed to do one actually, now that you say that. Okay, this one's weird. I feel like the angle of this is wrong for where I want to place it, so I think that one's out. This is kind of a duplicate of the one we already used. I don't want to be too matchy. This is really big. That's really big. My customer doesn't want any of the purples. I showed her this transfer and she doesn't want to use those, so those are out. Then back here again. Or I just leave it off. No, I'm going to add it. You can never have too much, right? And my hardware will go in right there. And this will kind of peek out from behind my hardware. I'm playing with the angle a little bit. I'm looking at where my hardware hole is. Let's go right here. You just bought the Morocco stencil? I think that's the most popular one. It's beautiful. Although I really like the houndstooth. It's really classic, really clean, can be masculine or feminine. I really like that houndstooth. I'm just rubbing, I'm pulling my backing sheet up as I go. So right now there's 3 Dixie Belle stencils. We will be adding to the line, you guys. We will continue to add more stencils to that line, which is going to be exciting to give better selection. But a jump off with 3 is awesome. 3 good designs. This is going to be a really exciting year for Dixie Belle. Between the silk release and sometime in January, we're hoping. Lots of goodies. Oh yeah, that's pretty. You bought the damask stencil? That one's really pretty. I haven't used mine yet. I need to find the right piece for it because it's very kind of regal looking. You know, it wouldn't work on this, which is kind of a rustic piece. I don't know, maybe that one I'm going to do raised stenciling on. All right, let's back up and see where we are. Okay, so here's this side, and then I'm going to move to the other side and make it match. But I'm going to have my sunflower mold here hanging out on the corner. Could do a couple of them. Maybe I'll do 2 on the other side, 2 molds. So I like the odd numbers. I wouldn't do 1 here and then 1 in the corner on the other side so they're matching. I would make it 1 here and then 2 over there. Or, you know, I would go with that odd number. So, do you have any info on what kind of transfers Dixie Belle is going to release? No? No comment. No comment. Let's come over here. And I've got another swag. So I've got this one that's similar here to where it would look coordinating. How Dixie Belle got all their new products during a worldwide pandemic. You know what, you guys? That is really worth acknowledging because there is a pandemic going on and Dixie Belle has managed to get their shipping. A lot of paint companies are struggling with shipping right now. Dixie Belle has gotten theirs back up. You know, they... So you guys call me a liar. You don't believe me at all. That's okay. As soon as you can know, you will know. And they've got, Dixie Belle's gotten their shipping under control, which was a huge challenge in the pandemic. Oops, I forgot to put this little guy right up above here, so I'll come back and do that. I just left it on the top. So I want to do this, only I'm going to curve this more. So it's more on the diagonal, so it cuts this corner. Okay, so it's asymmetrical. So that one goes more linear along the moldings here. My hat's scared away. So you're telling me I'm not good at keeping secrets. But I'm not going to get in trouble either, so. Okay, so I need to cut these purple flowers off. I almost forgot and left them, but they gotta go. Purple flowers, be gone. I'll save them. These are cute little flowers and use them for something else. So this one, the flower overlaps onto this leaf, so I'm just going to navigate my scissors. This is a more difficult cut. If it's not perfect, it's rarely noticeable. So this is what I cut out. This is what I ended up with. This transfer is called Sunflower Fields, and there's a link above in the post, Mary. Don't play poker. Good tip. Thanks. Thanks, Mary Ann. You guys are fun. Thank you for making this fun. All I can say is I've been very busy lately and not always with painting. A lot of stuff behind the scenes going on. I'm super excited for it. So what that means is don't unfollow me before January, okay? Or you won't ever know. There's that. Good secret, it's not the lie. Oh, I'm cracking up. Okay, so that's what I ended up with, and here's my whole piece. Minus purple flowers. Does this count as a purple flower? Did the berries count? I really like the berries. But do I have to lose them? Kind of sad if I do. I'm gonna try to sneak in berries and maybe she won't know. Sorry, gotta go activate some spring. Oh, okay, so you guys know we just put in landscaping, right, at our house. Well, guess who really likes fresh sod? The deer. And I love the deer. I don't want them to go away. But Sean turns the sprinklers on them. Okay, so I think I'm going to go like this. I'm going to cut. This is too long. I like it. I'll save it for another spot. Oh, Malia, you're awesome. Thank you. I got to get caught up on painting. I shipped 2 jewelry boxes today. Super proud of myself. because the Brush by Brandy shipping department's not always so great. So I cut this guy off. I'm going to save this. I really like this. I'll use it. Sean, Brandy needs her sprinklers fixed. Okay, and then we'll go in this corner. And then I could still do something down here in this corner too. Then it's not super matchy, but it still has the same design on both sides. Okay, we'll do this one, and then I'm going to get off. I won't hang out too long. Like, you guys have seen me do enough transfers now, right? Oh, it's the school district who calls every day right now. I get it. They're trying to be really good about communication, but it's usually messages about COVID. So I'm going to cut this right here because I know I'm going to pop this guy up above my molding.
What's wrong with the shipping department?
Oh, my stuff arrived all broken. Sean packaged them. Okay, I'm popping this up above. I'm going to cut this right here.
Just checking on my friends.
Your friends? Are they pretending they don't know you?
Yeah.
As usual?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, once I have something in place, I just press it down a little bit, just enough to hold it. So that's going to stay right there. This is going to come up over this molding. You know what, I'm just going to put that one down and I'll focus on these right now. Yep, leave me a message. I should have put it on Do Not Disturb, so sorry about that, guys. Anybody who really knows me knows not to call my cell phone anyways, just text me. Text or Facebook Messenger. Okay, so I have a lot of cuts here. I cut this, I cut this drawer, I cut this edge off, I cut this edge off. This is all cut up, and I haven't even applied any of it yet. So instead of letting the transfer rip apart, just cut it apart, and then you control. Hear that texture again? And then once you can start a corner, you can start pulling it back. Yep. Oops. A little more fine detail over here, so I'm going to be really careful. It's those little tiny leafies. Ta-da! And then I press it into all that texture. I love the transfer on the texture. Transfers just bend and flex into the texture of your piece, so they just become textured themselves. And then we'll do this sunflower. I'm going to lose the very top of it. That's okay. So I lost this. Pieces like this can be fun. If you've got a little edge or something, you could just make it peek out somewhere. You know, I'm not going to here, I don't think, but when you've got cuts, I just use the natural cut lines. Get this down in the crevice. These are nice flat surfaces. I don't think I'm going to put one up here because I want it to be asymmetrical. Did you seal the piece? So, redesign with Prima transfers do better over raw paint. That being said, this piece is sealed. because I took pictures of it already. Without the transfer, pictures with the transfer. So, I think their Redesign with Prima transfers do better over the raw paint. They have more to bite onto. That being said, it's not impossible if you seal your piece already to put a transfer on. I need to cut this again. This is my drawer separation right here. Just slice that. I do all these slices while it's still attached to the backing. The only thing that I do while it's off is I'll score it. If I just, like when I needed it to go into a deep crevice, I just scored it after it was applied. That one's on. Let's see. You got, so what even is that? I'm right there with you. It's always the school. You know who else leaves me voicemails? My mom. My mom. That's about it. And then this is the last piece that I'm missing, and this section is on. Other than that, like my sister knows, she just hangs up on my voicemail and then she'll just message me. This one doesn't want to stick as much. Having to rub it more, so I'm being more careful. And it wraps that corner, and then I just go over and rub over all of it. Just, they have a little bit of stretch to them. Oh, I am missing a piece. I was like, why does it look so bare right here? Because this goes right here. I'm just going to line it up to the one right above it, which goes right into my drawer edge and right on this one here. This is my... So I use the larger pieces from this transfer this time. This one has a lot of smaller pieces you can build up too. On the last piece I did like this, I chose to build them up. I really like building, I really like transfers that are loose pieces that I can just build up myself. They're like choose your own adventure transfers, you know, when it's all the pieces. That one I got a little piece that stuck to my backing, so I'm just going to find out where it came from, line it back up, put it right on. It was just a little tip of a leaf. Right, that's really cute. Okay, and then I could do another mold here in the corner and maybe one kind of down here or something. Yeah, you guys want to see what it looks like from far back? I'll back up on the whole piece. And this is where I am. You can swipe your comments to the side if you want to see it without. So I like that this corner is kind of, you know, different. I could take and I could put, I don't even know if I want to add anything to there though. Or I could put something coming down from up top up here. If I did do something on the bottom, I could do, you know what? I like that actually. In that bottom corner, going the opposite direction. I actually like that. All right, I'll probably add that guy. That's another big piece. And I still have a ton of this transfer left. I still could easily do another piece with this transfer. All right, I'm gonna probably get off, guys. Maybe make my kids dinner. But I just wanted to come on and show you because this is kind of a cool transfer, cool application. Look, it matches my sunflower up here. Where will you place the sunflower molds? So I'll definitely do one in that top corner up there. I want 2 or 3 of them. So maybe here, kind of off to this side though, not in the corner. I don't want it to be the same as the other side. So definitely that corner, probably off to the side here, and maybe something down in this area too, depending on how it looks when I put that last piece of transfer on. And then I would leave it. I want less is more. Less is more. Yeah, it's fun to hang out and watch other people do transfers, huh? All right, you guys, I'm gonna pop off. I'm gonna go make my kids some dinner. 6 o'clock here, yikes, it's late. It's a beautiful evening. The rain stopped. It's nice and quiet. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Again, this transfer is the Sunflower Fields transfer by Redesign with Prima. I lost the package. Sunflower Fields transfer, and I know it's available at the link that I put above in the post. They've got it up there. If you guys haven't already, go check out the new mousse and stencils available online from Dixie Belle today. Those are also at the link that I put above in the post. Today is a release day online, which is exciting for us. Have a good night. Thanks, Susan. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be live at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Dixie Belle Paint Facebook page. We're going to do raised stenciling tomorrow.